I guess we'll talk about that. We'll start there because I'll just scroll down because let me first start by saying welcome back to another episode of Not So I Divide. So Coty doesn't give me shit.
Thank you. It's
it's our call. Like
before we dive in, I heard about Cartnarks last night. It's a YouTube channel, right? Where a guy.
It started off as a radio bit.
It still is.
It is?
Yeah, he's a producer for a radio show called The Woody Show.
The Woody Show, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were talking about it last night, and I never seen one on video, so I wanted to go. And it's just pure coincidence you're wearing.
That's so funny.
The shirt tonight. They were talking about Cartnarks.
They've been doing this shit for years. I mean,
that's what I said. I never heard of it. Well, it's funny because like I will return my cart. Even if I got to walk a half a mile to the cart thing, I think it's
even I say my kids. Peyton does it now because she's, sees, especially I have a big truck. So when somebody doesn't return their buggy and
you got to get out and move it.
I don't have a little vehicle where I can squeeze past it. Right. I got to get out and move your damn buggy to park my truck.
That's why I support them.
So it's like, I think it's hilarious.
I bring my car, like I'm telling you, dude, like I've religiously been bringing my car back.
The thing that irritates me the most, and when people don't, is when they're a spot or two away from the little.
Yeah, like you're too lazy.
Like you don't have to go back to the store. They put them in the parking lots now. Like just find one. They're no more than 5 car lengths away from you.
Right.
Like,
But what's funny is the right next to them. Like you have a car that obviously was parked right next to the buggy return, and
leave it on the side.
On the side. Like you couldn't get your lazy tail around and go bring it back in the.
It aggravates me.
So I know I'm going to enjoy those.
Oh, they're hilarious. I love them.
And look,
people get so mad.
Oh God!
It's magnets, right? Because somebody told me at first it was a bumper sticker. I said I would beat somebody.
No, it's a magnet.
Bumper sticker on my car, right? But
so he initially wouldn't it wasn't. The magnet is relatively new. Like he would just first start and just go harass people. Like he would just talk to them and
like, why did you return your cart kind of thing?
Yeah, like, hey, can I ask you a question? And he just start the conversation. He's like, well, and you're a bad person, and he would kind of give him a really hard time. And then recently,
that's hilarious.
I guess 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, they started just putting a magnet on the car.
I don't think it's been that long. I think it's been around like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4. I know it's relatively new in the their program.
That's funny.
No, he used to actually put their buggy behind their car so they couldn't back out. They got with the lawyers or whatever, and they said they could maybe say it's like false imprisonment or some shit. It's kind of a gray area.
That's funny.
So they got away from that. That's when he started using magnets.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Cartnarks, if you're a good person, you'll like it.
Especially if you're a Cartnark and you're somebody that can't stand people that, But if you're somebody that doesn't bring your buggy back and you think it's no big deal, I'm just going to put it in the front of my car, I'm going to put it on the side, then you are a bad person.
Yeah. You're a lazy person.
You're a lazy person. You're right. I wouldn't say bad. Yeah, you're probably, but it's frustrating.
Like beyond, like that's a whole different degree of lazy.
Yeah.
Like you're already out of your car. You're already on your feet.
I even
walk your tail five car lengths over and go put your damn buggy back.
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
I would say probably, I'm trying to think of who would even have an excuse not to. Maybe a single mother that has one infant that they're putting in a car and they don't want to walk that far away from their car. Okay.
And his rule, like he doesn't mess with people who have their kids. He still disagrees.
Right.
But just because.
But it's different. So if my wife went and she had my son who's 12 and my 4-year-old still in a car seat, my 12-year-old can watch it for 5 car less. Yeah. But I can understand a single mom with an infant or something. Okay.
Even handy. I mean, if you have, physical disabilities, I'm okay with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got the cart or you whatever, you got, you have injury, and you're like, man, this is gonna be excruciating.
But I would say those people stop on the way out, talk to the person at the front door, and the store will help you put your groceries in your car.
How about you just ask the next person that walks by you?
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
Right. Hey, you mind bringing this back to the thing for me? Can you put it there?
No problem. Especially if
most people would.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't do it for a nice, able-bodied person, but like if you're like I said, a single mom, and you got, or even a dad. I don't want to just say a mom. If you're a single parent but you're by yourself and you have an infant, I say I'll bring it back. Or if you're elderly, disabled, But no, if you can walk, you can bring your own cart back.
A lot of people in those videos will leave their cart in the handicap spot because there's so much room, you know. So I love when it gets on them.
Oh, bro. I can't wait to.
I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that at Home Depot. Like,
yeah, I thought you were a good person.
I'm not always a good person.
I mean, look, the first steps of recovery, man, is
exactly. Let me defend myself for a second, because at Home Depot, there's the concrete barriers.
Okay.
So I put it between the concrete barriers. So it's like,
did you feel better?
No.
So like, I justify that you put them up into the grass area.
The cart is not. Well, that's even further. But the cart's not rolling anywhere. It won't get your car. You cannot hit that cart. You can't.
So it's almost like its own cart return.
Exactly.
That's how you justify it.
Yes, that is how I justify it.
Built-in cart return.
Yeah.
And I don't do it. I have done it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh yeah, here. You know, but I have done it.
On the road to recovery. That's all right.
Hey, just being honest.
Like sometimes it aggravates the people I ride with, because I'll like I said, if I have to walk a half a mile to go return my cart, I am. It's just I've always become a stickler for cart returning.
You a stickler for detail?
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Oh, can't imagine that. I don't know where that comes from.
I don't know.
Your routine?
Maybe. But yeah. I just
it's hard to believe.
It was just odd that it was where like just coincidence.
I didn't even notice it until you said it. Never paid any mind. So.
Well, I will definitely be watching that, because I think I could probably relate to those people. So
Cody's gonna order him a shirt.
I may.
Yeah, bro.
Might be Cardinark shirt twins.
Goes to a good cause. Goes to the ASPCA, I think.
Oh, that help them get their magnets? Because that'd be a great cause too.
No, I think he just pays for that himself.
Does it go to the ASPCA?
Yeah, the animal thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't be buying a shirt. That's another like organization. That Mask is a good organization.
There's a lot. There's a lot like that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I already told you I felt about the Red Cross.
Oh. So, where are we going? I know. So, a couple things that.
So you said you wanted to start. You wanted to start with Steven's recent post. You said.
So I want to just kind of catch up, because we've asked for interaction on Facebook, and we've gotten it. So I want to talk about it, because I don't have the patience or the time that I want to dedicate to getting into keyboard warrior things, but I would like to conversate on it and then let keyboard warriors comment back on it, and then I'll talk about it again. But to go back and forth for 2 hours on end, or sometimes days, because it's between responses. Right. I can't.
It's like a mental chess match, man.
I just can't get into it. Like I can't. It wears on me. It aggravates me. It changes my mood.
But so I'm guilty of. Since you're guilty of not returning your card all the time. We'll play the I'm guilty. I'm guilty of sometimes going on more liberal leaning pages like
guilty.
WWL or something like that, and.
What do you mean sometimes?
When I get bored,
you do this almost on a daily.
And I will throw
only comments. I'm scrolling and it says Coty commented on, and I'm like, why did Coty comment on that? And I'm reading, I'm like, this dude here.
I will throw the bait out in the water.
Oh, and it's piranhas.
Oh yeah,
it's piranhas.
And I'll just wait.
I get a kick out. I actually
got one. It's entertaining. It's entertaining for a few hours.
It's entertaining me as well, because I see that Coty commented on, the WWL, especially WWL, because I don't know why, but I guess that's the most that I see that you do. And I get into
that's probably the one that comes in my Facebook feed the most, I guess.
Oh, man.
Because I won't go more than 3 or 4 thumb roll. I don't have,
And you are quick to, I watch, I look at the feed and I watch at your time. You respond within minutes. Like, you were there to have this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's where some people, it's like 35 minutes.
I don't. So I'll go like a conversation where I'll respond 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, because I only have like a 30-minute block, and then I'll go an hour or so, and then I'll come back and respond later. So, but yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, because if I got 30 minutes to kill or whatever, I'll just throw the bait out and liberal fishing, man.
I can't.
Well, Jared, I get tired of it real quick.
Can we get a shirt with that name, liberal fishing?
Why not? Sure, anything made.
Me and Kim were talking, not to just go off another tangent, but you saw a shirts getting made. And our liberal friends, but the great mayor of New Orleans.
Oh, I don't feel sorry for New Orleans.
I don't either. And I want to get a shirt made that said, "We talking about France." Did you see that news?
Well,
We talking about France.
She has 4 citizens in New Orleans
Because we talking about France.
She has 4 citizens that are from France, so she has to go check out everything France.
She has to spend full $29,000 on a flight.
Yeah, well, she got to be safe, Jared.
Unlike the city.
It's for her safety. You can't expect her to fly to France and coach with her security detail.
Right.
She had to, for her safety, she had to be away from her security detail in first class.
And then people are shocked that they're trying to do a mayor recall right now. And look, they got like 10,000 something signatures.
Look, I used to enjoy going to New Orleans, right? Like, what we gonna do for the day? Oh, let's go, whatever, the zoo. Let's go to the aquarium. Let's go to the French Quarter. Let's go. It's so culturally diverse and fulfilling, and there's a lot of different things for a lot of different people to do. So we would sometimes on a weekend, a Saturday or something. Why don't we go to the city and just kind of make a day of it?
Yep.
Can't do that anymore, man. It's not safe.
The same thing.
And I hate to say it, but when you keep voting those people in like that over and over again, you get what you vote for. So I hope that the people of New Orleans are waking up and seeing that we can't doing the same thing over and over again, expect different results is insanity. So kudos to them if they do recall her, and I
They're
hope.
trying, but they won't. I mean, every political analyst, every political consultant has said it would be extremely too expensive to do, because then if she does get recalled, then they got to do another election, and they got to do.
I get all
it would
that.
be in.
But I just hope that it's the beginning of them waking up and saying, okay, like our city's going to shambles, tourism's down. It's not safe to go anywhere in our city anymore. It's time to vote these people out, and let's try a different route. And like I said, I'm not saying they have to go conservative, but give a moderate a chance. Like let's stop going to the extreme.
That's you just took the words out of my mouth. So you don't even have you can stay with somebody that has all of the same principles, 100%. Liberal, person that has all of the same beliefs is that the city has held, because they've been a liberal democratic city for a long time, and it's been democratically run for a long time. But just until recent years, when you get the extremists that come in there, and that's when it just
like I said, I don't. They live there. They vote whoever they want in, but I'm just, like I said, I'm hoping they're waking up and seeing that you can't have extremists run one way or the other. You can't have.
It's not just crime, or it's not just like the roads, the
Crime's a big
infrastructure.
one,
It is no, but I'm saying it's not like they're just dropping the ball in one area.
Right.
Like, the city is truly crumbling.
It is.
And look what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi right now.
I have no idea.
They have no water.
Jesus Christ.
None. Like,
how does that happen?
Can't flush a toilet. You cannot turn the water on in Jackson, Mississippi.
So that their infrastructure is that poor and
It's not that it's poor. It is, at this point, dysfunction. It does not work.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's in that big disarray that they can't.
And they've been knowing this for 10 years.
Somebody's getting paid a bed.
The governor 3 years ago said that this was the governor, right? Because Jackson is the capital. It'd be like Baton Rouge not having water.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
You just get, like, Deion Sanders is now the head coach at Jackson State. Like, you got good things happening in your state now, and especially in the college football world. Like these HBCs and everything is like, you got a lot of attention, a lot of national stuff. And then the next thing that you want is Deion going on ESPN saying, we got to move 100 kids out of this city because we can't practice, because we can't have water.
Right.
They can't shower. They can't brush their teeth. They can't flush the toilet. You cannot flush a toilet in the city of Jackson.
That's crazy.
Like, how is this even possible?
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
But we just, keep sending $7 billion or whatever it is to Ukraine. And again, I'm not against the foreign aid, right? I'm not. But you got cities falling apart.
But I mean, some of that is not. And look, you know how I am with the federal government.
Yeah.
But some of that is poor management of their own funds.
No doubt.
And I'd say probably the vast majority of it is.
Yeah, 90+%. I'd be willing to say.
You've been knowing for 10 years your water systems. That's not. That ain't Biden's fault.
Oh, I'm not saying it's his fault. What I'm saying is that when Jackson, Mississippi, when the governor of Mississippi or the mayor of Jackson gets in a news conference
That's the
and
mayor's
says
fault.
this,
100%.
But says this, like they should have water the next day from the federal government, right? The federal government should, and again, I understand it's the fault of their own, right?
Right.
But you still have American citizens
I would
that are in this situation.
I would be fine with the state government, and I don't live in Mississippi, obviously, but if something similar happened here, I would be okay with our state people going in, taking over.
Well, the state, that's what I'm saying. The state is definitely first and foremost has to do it.
Going in, but they don't get that for free.
No.
Like Jackson's got put them on a payment plan or something.
Yeah.
But they don't get that infrastructure for free because it's not fair to the rest of the state that is doing what they're supposed to do. You know.
I just can't believe. Like when I first heard, I was like, well, maybe there's just a.
That's incredible.
Oil advisory, or because that happens.
Like a contaminant or something, right?
Yeah, no.
But you'd still got to flush the toilets and stuff with a contaminant, right? That's
zero water.
That's something you hear about in a third world, nation.
Yeah, or even because I know there's been even not third world countries, but there's like Greece and
right,
other places like that.
World type.
Yeah, that they don't. They're smaller.
Right.
Like
they don't have the same money and infrastructure and stuff that we have. But yeah.
No excuses for over here.
No, none. Not in the USA. No.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
And it's even crazy that y'all didn't know about that.
Yeah, I had no idea. But again,
I didn't either.
I've been busy. So
but I mean, that should be as mainstream news as anything else.
Oh yeah.
That we have a capital city in this country.
But that goes back to, we're so I don't want to say controlled, but I guess lack of a better term, that the things that come across our sources of news, right, are controlled. They are, and some stories get buried, some stories get brought up to the forefront, and just whatever those news agencies want to I guess advertise, for lack of a better term. But you're right, that should have been one that's up at the top, so that we can use it as an example of what not to do for the rest of the nation. I agree 100%.
Yep.
So they are getting some federal aid or something, or the governor.
I mean, they're trying at this point, but I mean, they
have to now.
They're a week into this.
Right.
I mean, they don't have a choice.
I mean, even in hurricane world, when we lose water pressure,
right,
and we just dealt that a year ago.
And that's more important than electricity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy. Sanitation wise, health, you can live without food way longer than you can live without water.
Exactly. And these kids, they have, zero, nothing.
That blows my mind.
Flint, Michigan had the same water crisis a handful of years ago. Michael Moore made a big deal about it because it was the same thing. They actually deliberately changed the water supply, where they were getting their water from, and it contaminated the water.
Wow.
So they had to rebuild the entire infrastructure. They went almost, I think it might have been a little bit better than a year. And they could strictly use bottled water.
Wow. That's insane.
Yep. And it was crazy because you had neighborhoods that were they were from 2 cases of water a week. That was.
But you'll have people I'm sure there's probably people that live there now that still won't drink tap water. Oh. How would you trust the water?
Well, Well, I tell you, it was when Obama was president, because you don't remember when they finally got it fixed and they wouldn't drink it. Obama went to Michigan and went there and drank a glass of water out of the tap, and the media made fun about it. And he was like, "Look, if This just goes to show you.
Like, I don't even know he did that. But those are the type of things I want to see my president doing.
Because he was like, look, if I believe that they've done it, these are all the tests.
Right, that's putting money where your mouth is.
The FDA and everybody has said that this is clean, and here we go. Right. And, you know, they were like, oh, that was ploy. They just did, and they made a deal out of it. And I was like, come on, man. Like, yeah.
I'm all for calling somebody out, good or bad. But that's... Like, I didn't even know Obama did that. Mm-hmm. But that's something I'd have never made. I'd have gave him props for that.
Yeah.
I'm not as big a fan by any stretch of the imagination, but...
He's just full of omitting unbelievable shit today.
Big shock.
Yeah. But yeah, so not to get off tangent like we did it, but...
Huh?
No, it is Biden.
He's better than Biden.
Yeah.
And that ain't saying much, but that man, look, as bad as Obama was, he's better than Biden.
You know, it's funny. Kim and I laugh because 4 years ago now at this point, whenever they were running and it was like Trump and everybody was like, Trump's got this in the bag. And I told Kim, I said, and they had 27 Democratic candidates on the stage. Yeah. Biden was not one of them, right? Because he didn't run, he didn't get in until the end. I told Kim, and I said the only person that's going to beat Trump is Biden.
And see, I didn't believe that.
She said, no way. I said, I'm telling you, the only person that can beat him is Biden because he was already the beloved vice president. All these other people are unproven.
I don't think that's why people voted for him.
Oh, I agree.
Because they voted against Trump.
No, that's what it came down to, and that's why he got in the race. Because it was almost a given. Like, if I get in, I got it.
If that non-campaigning shell of a human could any one of those other candidates that was not an outspoken extremist could have beaten Trump. If he could win, any of them could have won. That's how I feel about it. Because I was but I understand that. But they also, I don't want to get into a big deep dive on him, but he's also the easiestly controlled out of all those other candidates.
I agree with that.
You know, I think they should have ran. What's her face? Is it Gabbard? Is that the right one I'm thinking of?
Tulsi Gabbard.
She's more of a moderate. She's a former military person. I think you should have had more people voting for her versus voting against Trump, and I think that it would have been a bigger gap.
See, and this is we talk about this all the time, how our systems are broken. You know, whether it's the school system, the education system, or our political system. Just the whole thing about her getting TV, like she didn't get the TV time because she didn't have the polling numbers.
Right. But how do you get the poll numbers without the TV time?
Exactly.
It's kind of like Fat Bastard. I eat because I'm lonely or whatever. I'm lonely because I eat or something. Exactly. I'm not lonely, but what do you say?
I think so. What if you're fat? I'm fat because I eat.
I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad because I'm fat.
Whatever.
It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, you know, unless you are Ross Perot, because Ross Perot did that. Ross Perot did not get TV time, and he's the first independent that
but I think he paid for a lot of his own, though.
That's exactly what he called CBS, and he said, how much for 4 hours of TV time?
Right.
And they gave him, he bought 4 hours, and all he did was talk for 4 freaking hours. If you put on CBS, you saw Ross Perot.
Right.
You know, only Elon, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, like, there's no billionaires that are running for president these days, right? Besides Bloomberg that did this last election, and same thing, put up $1 billion of his own money to see, but he was so last minute. In today's day and age, $1 billion to throw up in a campaign, not that much money, you know, when it comes to the big scheme of things, because these guys have consistently hundreds of millions of dollars rolling in. Like they always have a ridiculous amount of money.
That's part of the problem. You have to pay to even be known. Like to even have a semi chance.
It was gonna rack my brain all day. I eat because I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because I eat. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the last time I saw an Austin Powers movie.
That bastard was hilarious.
Eat in my belly.
Adam can say that. Like my mom,
why does he even know that?
Because my mom was like, he loves his little pudding after he eats, and like he's doing a little dance. My mom's like, "Get in my belly," and he's get in my belly.
So he started doing it.
Yeah.
That's freaking
It's
awesome.
hilarious, dude.
Might be next Halloween costume.
Oh, that's a great idea. That is a phenomenal
Y'all could do
idea.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like somebody could be the
Austin Powers.
I
Yeah.
don't know how participant my daughter would be, but you know me, I'll freaking.
Why? Oh, there's a character.
She's 14, bro. You know,
That's how Jason's mold is.
right?
He ain't participating.
Does she want to be anything, or she just don't want to participate at all?
Like just not. Yeah.
Just don't want to do anything. She could be bought.
No, she can't be brought.
Oh, no, I'm
I mean, Austin Powers family costume was
right.
pretty awesome.
I mean, look, our T-Rex costumes were a hit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember that. We've done Batman. We've done Addams Family.
I remember y'all Addams Family ones. Those are great.
The Batman. Kim and I did Two-Face and Catwoman one year for like an adult.
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
That was, and my brother-in-law did. He was Two-Face and Shauna was Poison Ivy.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
we were like, yeah, that was a cool one. And we actually won. Like we left that.
Superman must not have been in the competition. That's why.
How to be brought up?
Such a.
Let's go back talking about disasters.
Yeah, here we go. But yeah, so let's move on to these.
Yeah, you
these
want to
posts.
start with the gun, Facebook, Brennan? The gun, I mean, there's not much to say. I think the video kind of sums it up pretty good if you took the time to to watch the 10-minute video. The guys actually, I've seen him before. Colin Noir, I think his name is.
I don't know who he is.
He's a gun advocate. He's part of the NRA.
And what was the video?
It's at the top of the Facebook post. It's the one Steven posted. That one. Yeah, Colin Noir.
September 1st.
I mean, it's like an 8-minute video. I don't want to take up all of our
Yeah, just
airtime.
we're not gonna play it then if it's an 8-minute video. Biden says the AR-15s will be banned if Democrats pick up 2 Senate seats. He makes a comment, and the biggest thing is that he makes a comment that an AR-15 is the fastest shooting.
He doesn't say that.
He says it in another when they were talking about this, right? Like in this whole thing, if they that they'll ban it and they give it clips. You know, they clip his whole thing about how he's with Anderson Cooper and he's like, yes, we will ban it, right? So I've seen somebody talking about it, and they clip in. He makes a statement that AR-15s.
Who's he? Who are we talking about?
Biden. I'm sorry. That AR-15s are the deadliest and the fastest shooting gun on the planet.
Wow. So faster than a Gatling gun, faster than.
And I'm like, this is the problem with anybody. You don't like, because look, I am a gun, and we had these conversations a million times. I am a gun owner. I am a hunter. I say pro Second Amendment, but I'm also okay with gun control. And this is our debate that we've had consistently here. Is Cody's like, no, and I get it. I'm okay with that way either, right? But I do go both ways when it comes to having certain things in check and making sure, the background check. Like, I'm good with all of that. As responsible gun owners.
Yeah, that's not the problem.
I agree. And I don't want to get in that.
Right.
My problem is where the Democratic Party loses everybody is when they make stupid fucking comments like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can look at statistics. Like, more people die from stabbings than guns. More people die from heart disease. Like, there's a million things that people die from.
Right.
That are more than guns.
And just
especially more than an AR-15.
Yeah. That's like 1% of all gun deaths.
So it's like, just come across and say, look, do I think...
This is the thing. It's because it's not about just taking the AR-15.
Oh, it's not. It's a start.
They don't want us to have guns, period.
Yeah. And it's... but I disagree with that. I disagree. Let me clarify. I'm not disagreeing with your statement. I'm disagreeing with the totality of it. I don't believe that Democrats want to take our guns away.
No, the socialists want to take our guns away.
But that is the extremist of the party.
But it's still a party.
I agree, but we can say the same thing on both sides, right? You can say the control of the extremes of the party have gotten completely out of hand.
But the difference is with the Democratic Party is those extremists control a lot of their party, versus the extremists with the Republican Party doesn't control the vast majority of their party. They're more the fringe, right? The extremists on the left have gone so far left with so many of them that your moderates are now considered conservative to them. When you get to a point where Joe Rogan's on his podcast telling people to vote Republican, like, it's a problem.
Who's never voted Republican in his life?
Like, he's for a universal income. Like, he was a Bernie Sanders supporter, still is.
Yeah.
That man's not a conservative.
Not at all. But he's a conservative pundit. But he's a right wing advocate, and he's all these things.
Right.
So no, I agree. 100%.
So when you have people like that saying the only chance we have as a nation
of riding the ship,
riding that ship is to vote Republican. Yeah. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah. But he still won't vote for Trump.
I mean, I bet if it was between Biden and Trump right now, he'd vote for Trump. I bet he would.
I don't know. I mean, he said it. He has said it countless times. I mean, people change. There's
people change their minds.
But I just, you're right. I mean, that's both parties, I feel, have gotten, like, again, this is why we created this damn podcast, right? Is to push things in the middle and say, hey, look, there's more of us, but you don't hear them because they don't talk and they don't think it's a big deal and they don't vote.
That's the biggest problem. Is
they don't vote. Like we talk about New Orleans. We talk I know. Look, I have conversations with plenty of Democrats, like a lot, and I know none of them that want to end Second Amendment.
Right.
I don't know anybody personally, right, that says let's get rid of guns. I think they want moderate gun control.
We have that though.
Ish.
Yeah. Ish.
I mean, it goes back to the same mantra that I've been saying for years. Why don't we just make murder illegal if laws fix everything?
What is that?
Because it's not all that's going to do is make an individual who's a law-abiding citizen an easier victim. Stricter gun control laws take guns out of the hands of your regular, everyday, law-abiding citizens who want to protect themselves. You're taking away their God-given right against self-protection. The gun is the great equalizer in history. It gives a very physically weak individual a fighting chance in hell when a more prowess predator comes to try to take their life. And I am not for making a law-abiding citizen an easier victim for a criminal. Like, not at all.
What I talk about when I say more gun control, right? My personal viewpoints is I am okay with somebody having it. I don't think that everybody should just be able to go buy a gun, right? Like, you can't just go drive a car. You can't just go do certain things.
Look,
I think our world is much different, especially in other places of this country than where we live, right? And so when we look at technical difficulties again,
it's just
you go to places. Is it the input or is it
no? It's just blanking. I don't know why.
Shut it down for a second. Let me start in a minute. Is that you have a lot of uneducated people that go out and buy guns that weren't raised around them, that didn't have, like, we were almost, especially in my household, it was an immediate thing. You learned about guns,
right? But because your parents were responsible gun owners.
But there's a lot of people who don't want to be gun owners, and they have that right.
Absolutely.
But their kids might become of age. Like I have cousins that
Jared, I would have no problem if they took a block of, I don't know, PE and just went over gun safety. You know, and we're in a country where we have millions and millions of gun owners. It's one of our it's our second freaking right, you know. It's right under free speech, and it's there to protect free speech. Right. Like, I mean, so I would have no issue with. I mean, I took hunter safety in junior high.
Exactly. That's where I was going. So, like, dude, like when you go to any, like where we hunt at in a lot of rural Missouri, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, all these places, they're rural places, right? Conservative leaning. Almost every one of them. Like when opening season starts, school is closed.
Right.
And every one of those kids have a gun in their hand.
Yeah, they're out there hunting. Right.
It's school curriculum to have gun safety. And I don't know the numbers, but I would love to know how many violent crimes, gun crimes, happen in those communities.
It's probably,
and I want
minor.
the per capita, right? Not the well. There's only 3 because there's no. I get it, but if there's 3 that happen in a place of 100 people, that's high.
That's a lot, right?
Right. Yeah. So why don't we at least attempt to model that in suburban? I don't know if you can do that in urban areas because it's really. I mean, you can still have the education.
Right.
I don't know if you'd have the political buy-in.
I don't even know so much of that is because that's a very, very multi-layered cake that you're trying to take a cut out of. And I'm all for just the safety-wise of teaching gun safety in a classroom. But you're talking about reducing gun violence. I mean, you got to start talking about.
Oh, I know. It's at home and the parenting.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm saying just, again, people.
But accidental shootings and those kind of things.
The more comfortable and knowledgeable you are with something. A lot of people don't carry a gun because they're scared of it.
Right, absolutely. Right.
So, like we have the conversation with all my, the employees that I have. Like, they'll sit here and talk about, like, I keep mine in my purse.
Is it a holster in their purse?
Well, my first question is that, and it's just in case. I'm like, are you prepared to shoot somebody?
That is the first question.
Are you prepared to go? Pull it, shoot like.
Yeah, you're prepared to kill
I don't know. What and get it out of here.
Taser then. Yeah.
Because that's most people aren't.
And look, and that goes back to, like, I probably mentioned these books I think earlier on in our podcast, but Lieutenant Colonel Grossman, he's a retired Air Force colonel, and he's a psychologist, and one of the things he specializes in is after action trauma, both mentally and physically, that your body goes through during a deadly force encounter, whether that be a survivor of a school shooting, mass casualty events. and he did a really interesting book called On Killing, and in there, one of the fundamental things that he says is human beings we're not one of those species that inherently want to kill each other, right? Like, killing another human being is not one of those things that's entwined into our basic animal instinct, right? So yeah, it's not a surprise that most people are no, I don't. Now you can be trained,
sure,
to be more okay with that, but yeah, if you're not okay with defending your life with deadly force, then don't bring a gun into a fight that you're not prepared to pull the trigger on, because you're going to get yourself hurt
with your own gun.
Yeah. There's some pretty effective alternatives that you can use.
Bear spray
for that. Well, I mean, just Taser International makes a civilian use taser.
But is it a close, like
It's like a 30-foot type deal. It's close enough that if somebody was trying to rape you or something like that, you can hit. Problem is, it's an electronic device. So just like we're having technical difficulties with the computer, the taser is basically a computer. Nothing's 100% effective, but it'll elevate your chances. It's not as effective as a firearm, but more effective than your fist. So I would. If your employees don't want to have a firearm, but they want something for self-protection, I'd have them look into the civilian model taser. And it's made, so the ones we use for law enforcement, it cycles for 5 seconds, right? They give us enough time to put handcuffs on somebody while the taser's still going off. Civilian model goes for 30 seconds.
Oh, so you can get far
it's made to shoot, drop, and take off. You get a police report, taser replaces your taser. Like Taser International will replace that taser.
Really?
That you used, yeah. That's part of their.
Well, that's a plug. Just saying.
I'm not. Look, I wish I was sponsored by Taser.
No, I'm just saying, but that's a plug. I mean, that's.
But it's a very effective. And look, the problem with pepper spray, and I'll tell anybody
also.
I hate having pepper spray on me. But I guarantee you, you can spray me and I can still hurt you very, very badly. Like it's
especially if I'm close, because I'm going to grab you. I'm not going to let go.
And on top of which, if I sprayed pepper spray on this table, we'd have to get out of this room. Yeah. Like it's going to affect everybody in there, in here. But it's it's not. Again, it's better than nothing. But I personally would rather fight you with my fist than pull pepper spray out and spray you. Just because it's going to get on me and it's probably going to affect me more than it's going to affect you. Yeah. You know, so I don't.
It's going to make every bit of snot come out your body.
Yes.
So, like, the person that had the gun in their purse, they said that they're not sure if they would be willing to shoot. They own that gun legally? Yeah. They went and bought it themselves? I think that's part of the problem. That person should have been educated.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what we're getting at.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but that's all part of basically making it stricter. At least in my opinion. I mean, some people, different definitions for what's a stricter gun law, what it should be, or whatever.
I don't think that you get that level of cooperation out of punitive like that per se, right? Like, kind of like if you take driver's ed, you get a discount on your insurance, right? I think there's some leeway that if you do have that education, then maybe it comes with a concealed carry license or something along those lines. The
thing is now is that you can't even, like, when we were younger, you didn't have to take driver's ed.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't a requirement. No. But you got we did because you got a discount on your insurance.
Correct.
Like, we weren't punished.
But now
we were rewarded for
educating ourselves. You have to take driver's ed.
Right, yes.
You have to at least say, I think it's an 8-hour course.
Right.
And no matter what age you are, to get a driver's license.
The sticky problem with that is driving is not, it's not a right. Right? Driving is a privilege. And owning a firearm is a right, So that's part of the issue.
Would agree or disagree there.
Well, I mean,
that person there was talking about should not have a gun.
There's nothing to agree or disagree as far as what he just said, because that's a written right. I mean, there's no disagreeing with that. You can disagree whether you think it should be a right or not. Right? I'm not saying.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it is a right to say. It's the same thing we talk about with freedom of speech. Like, you can say hurtful things in this country, and it is 100% legal, and it should be.
Right, yes.
You can't do that in any other country
on the planet.
Okay, but it's a right, fine.
I get what you're saying, but this is my thing. There's a difference in... I'll use... Because I had this conversation with some Jehovah's Witnesses before. I'm not trying to pick on that religion. They just so happen to be Jehovah's Witness. And we talked about somebody coming to their home and trying to harm their children. And they said that their defense is that they hope that they prepared their children religiously enough that they would be in the arms of the Lord, versus killing somebody to stop them from harming their own children. That person, no matter what you do to them, is not going to pull the trigger. And I'm saying that to say this: the lady in Jared's case said, "I don't know." She might be a stone cold killer if you come in there and trying to hurt her, right? And there's a lot of people out there that are saying, "Oh yeah, I'd shoot somebody in a heartbeat if they tried to hurt me or my family."
And they probably would.
That would freeze. Yeah. You don't, unless you're trained extensively. You don't know. You really don't. And even those people who are trained still sometimes freeze up. I can show you a gazillion videos going both ways with it. So I mean, just because she doesn't know doesn't mean she doesn't deserve the right to find out. Right? And that's how I feel about it. If she wants to carry a gun in her purse and she's attacked and she doesn't use it, that's on her. But I'd rather her have it and not need it.
Concealed?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But I mean, but if you're in your car, your car's extension of your home, and so the only issue she really has is. But I mean, I'm not.
Right, you're not. But I mean,
legally speaking, yes, it is.
In her purse, she's not supposed to walk around Walmart or whatever with a
correct.
gun in her purse.
Now without a concealed carry permit. Right. Which in those concealed carry classes, gun safety is there. They're gonna.
Correct.
If you go to a good, which a lot of the ones around here are, there's some bad ones, but the majority of your more prominent, outspoken concealed carry classes that we have in our parish are very. They don't just. I got to teach you this. This is the bare minimum. They're going to teach you how to clean your gun. They're going to teach you how to shoot your gun. They're going to give you gun safety with it. You're going to go out and shoot it on the range. So let me ask you.
So you don't think that should be? I can't say required because I don't think it should be required.
I would have no problem with that being taught in school.
But you don't know. I mean, like one step further, when you go buy a gun, for them to promote that heavily.
I have no problem with it with that. Look, I would say this. I don't have a problem with it. I would encourage that to be promoted. I would encourage that 100%. Required, I don't know, but
I can't say required because again,
I would be okay with the government giving them a tax break if they took a class on it, so your firearm might be a little less expensive, right? There's got to be some kind of
good student discount.
But there's got to be some kind of middle ground there. But to say to require it for them to go, no.
You think ultimately anybody should be able to walk into a gun shop?
No, I didn't say anybody.
Why? It's a right.
It is a right, but again, if I am on social media saying I'm going to shoot a school up, I shouldn't be able to walk into a gun shop and go buy a gun.
So
but we have laws already in place for that. We have background checks and stuff like that.
But you don't have a background check on social media.
No, but those platforms are monitored. They are. I mean, go talk to anybody that makes any kind of conservative comment on social media.
I don't understand. I don't get how you can say it's a right and say, well, for certain people it's not a right.
Well, because you lose your rights. I mean, if you
get arrested right now,
but if you're out on the street, you're not arrested. It's not the same thing. But you have all your rights when you're out on the street.
No, you don't.
Not
if you're a convicted felon.
Right.
That's kind of the point I'm trying to make, though.
So
what other right do they not have?
Who? Felons?
Convicted felons.
You can't vote.
There's all kind of rights you don't have as a convicted felon.
That's another completely the topic that you can't own a gun, you can't vote, you can't do certain things, you can't go in certain places as a convicted felon.
Okay.
And depending on what the conviction is, it limits it even more.
And when you're talking about the mentally ill, and I'm not saying like disease or like don't get me wrong. I shouldn't have to say that. I should just be able to talk, but I think we all know what I'm talking about when I say a mentally ill, a mentally disturbed person. Okay, there's laws in place already for that individual.
If they're diagnosed.
If they're diagnosed, yes.
Again, we know, and you especially know, how many mentally ill go undiagnosed.
Oh, it's right. I have said a million times because you know I'm a mental health advocate, and I have said a gazillion times that I don't think there's enough that we do for our mentally ill.
This is, I guess, I know my position. I'm assuming Brennan would agree with that. Is that there is zero responsibility on the sellers of guns to go, God damn, this dude doesn't seem right.
I mean, but
a bartender got to be able to make a decision where I can serve you a drink or not, whether you're too intoxicated to drive.
Right.
But if somebody selling a gun doesn't have to make a judgment call on.
But that's a lot. That's a lot to put on.
I understand that it is. I understand there's a difference between a privilege and a right. I get that. I'm talking strictly about that. The feeling that you get in your gut when you think about that is that a bartender has more responsibility of somebody's life than somebody selling a gun.
And look, I'm okay, Jared. I'm saying I would be okay with. They check on the application, look a little bit deeper than this person, for whatever reason. But the problem arises is now you're making me wait
a little
longer.
Deeper if somebody doesn't know exactly because not everybody knows the process of buying a gun, I guess.
Well, when you go to a gun store, you have to submit paperwork for a federal background check, and they look into all those things. And I don't want to go as far as saying a red flag law, but if they come in and they're obviously, and I'm not talking about I think they might be, like there's something off on this person mentally. I'm okay with a checkbox that maybe take them a little bit longer. but your ass better be able to back it up as a gun owner on why. Why did you get this feeling? Not just because he looked off.
As the seller.
As the seller, yeah, as a seller.
Yeah, like he was fucking looked like he was talking to people in his head.
Right.
And he
Like
would
you better be able to justify that, because if you can't, then I'm also okay with that person being civilly liable for that.
I'm 100% okay with that.
You know, and
Again, if a bartender can go to jail for over serving somebody,
right. I
but a
get that.
gun wholesaler has zero liability in selling a mentally disturbed person walking out and going shoot up anything.
But again, those things aren't as obvious as an
I don't
intoxicated.
disagree.
Yeah, I don't feel like that'd be effective.
That would be effective.
Like Cody's saying, I don't think it's going to be that obvious when.
You don't think that mentally disturbed people, that there's cases that mentally disturbed people, it's an obvious sign, like Coty. Like, I agree with you 100%. There should be an additional thing, additional section on that application for that person selling that gun to put their observation down.
Right, yeah.
I'm not against that.
Right?
I'm just saying,
And
but
maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it'd be
I'm
that
not saying
obvious.
it would definitely not drastically change anything. But I think it's a step into saying, hey, look, this person selling this gun has some ownership and some responsibility of that transaction, right? Just that I'm not talking about 5 years later you sold me the gun. No, that's bullshit. On that transaction to that person, right? There's no difference. There's so many other professions that have liability when it comes, whether it's civil or actual law liability when it comes to their job. The gun owners have none.
If you can go back and prove that, I'm trying to buy a gun, I'm asking questions that if this would drop a kid or something from 100 yards, and you still sell me a gun, then yes. And I know it doesn't have to be that extreme, but what I'm getting is that gun store or that gun seller better be able to justify that with their observations, and the opposite too.
So what about private
if it's quickly, we'll get that. But even on the opposite end, if I'm okay with if this person was walking into your gun store and talking to themselves and you know what I mean, like there's obviously something off with this person, and you don't report it, yeah, 100%. You bear some responsibility for that. I'm okay with that. Now, granted, you and me sitting behind these mics don't make those decisions.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, I'm okay with. I personally would be okay with that step.
Getting things in the environment and out into the ether and having people discuss it is what brings it further along in conversations, along the way. Yeah.
I don't think you should. Well, I'm probably gonna take some flack for this. I think a private sale should be done through a gun store.
I agree, 100%.
Like I don't.
Every private sale I've purchased, we have gone to an FFA place.
And when I say gun store, I'm talking about a licensed gun dealer.
Yeah, to do an FFA, to go back and do it and have the transaction done.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad when Facebook and the other places stopped, because they were freaking raffling guns in some of these groups. Hey, everybody throw up $10 and whoever wins this gun. And I'm going, you have no idea who's winning this gun. It's crazy,
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
And again, I'm fine with the raffles. Just when it comes to the selling of it,
has to happen.
Yeah, come meet me at whatever ABC gun store, and you gotta do your background check and do I don't. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to buy a gun and then go sell it to Brennan because he can't get a gun because he's a felon.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, I agree with that.
But do you know how many? And it's the same thing with the wife buying it for the husband or the boyfriend or that happens so many times.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can't. There's no law you're going to put to do that.
Not for spousal, no.
But if you do something to make that person aware, if something happens, you own this gun.
Right.
It is your responsibility.
No, I'm also not in favor of a gun registry either. But it's a whole nother.
Well, anything that's you go through any FFA, it's registered. So how do you say you're pro buying a gun through the FFA and it not being registered.
It's the background check process. Like,
but it's registered at that point.
I mean, I get that, but there's no like when you run a serial number on a firearm, it's not like running a license plate, right? Like it's not just a boom, and it's done. As long as it will require warrants, in my opinion, to be able to track down those owners.
Say if somebody owns 10,000 guns, that the FBI's got a reason to raid you.
Right.
If they have that register going, this dude's got a lot of guns.
Right.
For
Yeah.
no reason,
No,
so
I think you should have to have. It should be protected by, like, you should have to have a warrant or something like that to be able to access that data. That's my opinion.
Oh, just to get the data.
Yes.
I mean, I agree with that 100%,
Yep.
but that's not how technology works.
I mean, I get that.
Everybody can.
But
every government is hacked and everything is.
I mean, I understand that, and those are things, but there should at least be, for the government to be able to find out that information. It should have to. It should
be a paper trail saying who and why you.
Why are you wanting to know who's got 15 ARs at their house?
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I don't think that should just be. So moving on to our next topic, because I don't. I know Brennan kind of is the opposition when we talk about, because I think you feel a lot about how I feel, but I really enjoy having Tori as part of those conversations because he's completely opposite, right, when it comes, especially to the gun control and gun issue related situations.
Not too much.
So,
not too much. He personally doesn't want to own a firearm, if I remember right from our conversations, because he don't feel like he'd be responsible, I guess, enough with it. And I respect him for that.
He's like, I don't see why anybody needs it unless you going hunting. But I know a lot of people that, and I don't want to speak for Tory, but I think a lot of people that I feel how he talks and how he talks is more along the lines of like New Zealand or places like that. That like, if you want to hunt and if you want to do this, there's clubs for that, and there's the guns stay here. I am 100% not in agreement with that. I'm just saying I know a lot of people that said that because Ireland, England, New Zealand, like places that people sit here and say, well, guns are illegal. No, they're not. They're not illegal. There is specific places, like...
they're essentially, like...
You can't just go buy one.
Yeah, private ownership is not the same.
You can, but you can't have it privately. So, like, I'm going to give New Zealand, for example, because I know firsthand a lot of people who've hunted in New Zealand and how kind of the semi works is that they have hunting clubs, right? Like if you want to, be a member of a golf course,
right.
But your golf clubs stay at the golf course, and you use your golf clubs at the golf course,
right?
Right. And it's the same thing with their hunting clubs.
So no such thing as a gun for self-defense.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's even limited on the type of... You can buy guns through the hunting clubs, but you are even limited to the types of guns that you can buy through. Like, it's as crazy as barrel lengths and, shotgun or rifle sizes, calibers. Like, you can't just go, like, oh, I want a 30-06. Like, oh, no, the most you can get is a 270. Or, like, they limit it to... specific things. It's a very very strict.
Not that extreme.
No, but it's pretty out there. So, but I want to wrap this.
Yeah.
Brennan, departing words.
Excited about our interactions on Facebook. Hope y'all keep that up.
Yeah, that's all you and Coty. I appreciate that.
And same old, man. Just keep listening, keep telling everybody about us. Help get the word out.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Just putting a small comment, even if you're the person that you only have time to give your opinion and you don't want to argue about it, you don't want to talk about it further. Trust me, we'll take your comment, and if I say something, somebody will come to the other side of it, or if you're with me, somebody from the other side, like, it'll still start the conversation. That's what's the important part about it is, even if you don't personally want to get involved, with the whole back and forth debate, but you just want to chime in with your opinion, I appreciate that too. Like, you don't have to get involved in the debate about it. But sometimes that'll spark a whole different side conversation. And that's how conversations start and ideas start and compromises happen. So please comment. And look, if you have any ideas for future segments or anything like that you want to hear about, as always, this is your podcast, it's not ours. So, we're open to any kind of ideas, or, often we have an empty chair, we'll make room for you. We have a couch in the room y'all can't see. If you want to come hang out with us and chime in every now and again, we're fine with that too.
Always willing to redesign and add space.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I echo what Coty said, man. I'm glad that we got more into the messaging, and I keep saying that I challenge everybody to do it, and I need to do it myself. I'm trying to do more content stuff and making that so we can have it and kind of keep the page. And even like Steven did, just sharing that thing in the group.
Yeah.
The more the algorithm sees the activities, the more it's going to get suggested to places and moved around. So, again, I do a bad job at it, and I'm trying to do better. But again, I appreciate everybody's comments and listens, and I'm gonna try to get more involved in the comments, because it just beats me down.
And bring your damn carts back to the cart corral.
Yeah.
And the parking lots.
Don't be a lazy bones.
Yeah, be a good person.
Unless there's stops and curves and you can park.
You don't get to make your own.
Not how this works.
All right, everybody, remember the divide is not so wide.
Peace.